everyone, my name is Jasenia and I am a recruiter. I decided to create this video because I have tons of people that are always reaching out to me asking me, how do you create a resume, how do you start from the beginning, and it's really hard to get back with everyone all the time, so I thought I decided to create a video instead and help everyone out there that just has questions about creating a resume. I know it can be really difficult and you don't know where to start, so I'm hoping this video helps you guys. Now, there's different types of resumes. This resume that I'm going to be talking about today is just a basic resume. I recruit specifically for office and administration positions, so bookkeepers, administrative assistants, executive assistants, accounts payable, accounts receivable, any type of office job or finance support. So, but this resume that I'll be talking about is just, again, a basic resume that anybody can use. So let's get started. And if you guys would like for me to create a video on just interview tips and advice, I'd be more than happy to do so. So let's start with the basic. You want to create your resume in a Word template. If you have a Mac, you can definitely use another version if you'd like, but the very beginning, your name on top. So if your name is Jane Smith, you'll write Jane Smith. Underneath it, you'll need to have your address as well as a phone number and an email address. Let me talk about email addresses. I have come across a lot of very unprofessional email addresses. Nobody wants to see thickwithit26@gmail.com, Hello Kitty Lover 14@yahoo.com, Juicy Girl 26, Body 76. Just use something professional. Nobody needs to know if you're thick. Nobody needs to know if you're juicy. Use your first name, last name @gmail.com if that's taken. Add a couple of numbers, Jane Smith 27@gmail.com. Please have a professional, a very professional email address. Think of yourself as an employer. Do you want to call Juicy Thighs 27@gmail.com? Do you think she's a professional person? Or he? Could be a he. I didn't think so. So please use something professional. Email addresses are completely free. You can keep Juicy Thick with it 27@gmail.com for getting free coupons, but for work, use something professional. Go create a new one. Gmail, Yahoo, anything you want. Just first name, last name, add a period if you need to, add some numbers. Very important. Please have a professional email address. Phone number. I get so many resumes that don't have a phone number. How do you want a recruiter or an employer to call you? It's so important. And also, a note about phone numbers, make sure it's a working phone number. I call so many people and it's just, not activated anymore. I understand there's financial hardships, but if you think your phone is going to be cut off, make sure to put a phone number that's reliable at home. Somebody that can get you the message right away. And another thing, answer your phone. I will call so many people. I'm a stalker recruiter, so I'll call many, many times, but an employer shouldn't have to chase you. You need the job. They don't. I understand things happen and we're busy, doctor's appointments, you didn't hear the phone. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't answer phone numbers that I don't recognize. You're applying for work, there's going to be people that are calling you that you don't know their phone numbers, or the companies will show up as private. Make sure you answer the phone and call back as soon as you can. The more eager you are, the better it is. Okay, so we have our name, our email address, professional email address, our address, our phone number, and those can go in any order. It's really up to you. Not a lot of people from other countries aside from the US, will put a picture on their resume. Don't do that. Not in the US. And there's a couple of reasons. You don't want someone to discriminate. It's illegal and they're not supposed to, but you'll never know if they're discriminating. If you're a female and they want a male and they see your picture there, your age, your race, just keep it as neutral as possible. You want the best shot at getting just an interview. Nowadays, your resume is everything. Everything is, you know, when you go to an employer, they're like, go apply online. You're like, can I just talk to someone? So your resume is really important. No pictures on your resumes at all, unless the specific employer calls for it, which I don't know why they would, unless it's for another country. You know, sometimes they request it, then that's different, but keep your picture out of your resume. Okay, so moving forward, after you have your name, address, phone number, email, sometimes an objective is important. Make sure that you detail the objective specifically to the company that you're applying. I will have people that are applying for an executive assistant position and their objective states they're looking for a marketing opportunity. That right there shows that you have no attention to detail and you're just sending resumes on. Please tailor it to each position. So following, if you're a recent college grad and you don't have a lot of education, or I'm sorry, a lot of experience, or even if you don't have any experience in general and you're not a college grad, or what year you're graduated, it's gonna go on top because that's the most important and it's the most recent. If you have a lot of work experience and you have a degree, still put the degree at the bottom of the resume. Again, this is just what my preference is. You can do whatever you'd like, but usually it looks better. If you have a bachelor's degree and tons of experience and you got your degree maybe 10-15 years ago, don't put it at the very top. List your experience first. So then, let's say you're a recent college grad, you're gonna put education. You can list some courses that are relevant to this specific position. If you're a recent college grad, if you're not a recent college grad, don't list all these courses. A lot of employers are really looking for experience, and although you took the class in college, they need real life experience, so you don't have to list 10 courses that you took. Okay, so we have our education at the very top if you're a recent college grad, at the very bottom if you have a degree, but you graduated 10-15 years ago. And if you don't have a degree, that's perfectly fine. You can put your high school diploma, put the school that you attended and the year. Okay, I want to talk about that actually. It's an important topic. Along with discrimination, again, completely illegal. Employers are not allowed to discriminate on age, but they do. And it's not something we'll ever know, and we can never accuse anyone of doing that. So if you have graduated from high school or college in the 70s, I would say 80s and below, do not list your year of graduation. And it's like, why? I'm proud I graduated, which is, I agree. But if it's a company that in their mind they're like, I'm looking for maybe a millennial, but you have all the skill set, you put that you graduated from high school in 1975, right there, you're giving away your age. And the employer, unfortunately, is gonna be like, nope, on to the next one. They won't even give you a shot. Just looking at your resume, I hope that makes sense. So don't list it. It sucks, I know. It's just real life. So leave that out, and then you want somebody to give you a fair shot based on your experience. Not they see your age. So right there, you're you're taking away something that someone can discriminate against. So, okay, we have that out of the way. And I have my phone here. I listed some notes, so I'm gonna be looking back and forth to make sure that I'm covering everything I needed to cover. Okay, one more thing about education. If you attended college but did not graduate, don't even list it. If you took just 2 courses, or maybe you were just 2 courses away from graduating, but you didn't graduate it, unless you're currently pursuing your degree, don't list it. Sometimes it shows like you started it and you didn't finish it, and that's something that you don't want an employer to be like, okay, she or he starts something and doesn't finish it. Again, this is totally optional, but also do not falsify your education. If you put that you graduate, if you put bachelor's degree, University of Tampa, that's where I went, and you did not finish that, the employer will check. And sometimes they don't even care if you have the degree, but if you falsified and said you graduated, you lost the job. I have a friend that was in that scenario. She listed that she had graduated and she really didn't, and the employer did not care if they had a degree or not, but she lied and lost the opportunity. So don't lie. We check. Employers check 100%. So it's better just to, please don't even list it if you didn't graduate from the opportunity. Okay, moving forward. Again, I'm looking at other notes that I have. So let's talk about your work experience. Chronological order. Don't ever start backwards. I don't understand why people do that. Employers want to see your most recent position. Also, I get so many resumes that say present and that position has finished 2 months ago. Make sure you update your resume. If you're not working there, take away the present. So a lot of people have a really hard time with, I know what I did, but I don't know how to say it, or I don't know how to put it on a resume, which is completely understandable. And this is my best advice to you. For example, if you were an administrative assistant at a law firm or a paralegal at a law firm, Google job description of a paralegal or a job description of an administrative assistant in a finance role. Or not, I'm sorry, in a finance industry or a finance company, an accounting company, whatever company or industry you come from. Literally Google the job description and bam, those are your responsibilities. However, do not copy and paste that into your resume. Look at the job description. If it says, you know, entered accounts payable or processed 100 invoices a day. If you did that, then take that and put it on your resume. Do not take items that you have not done and put it on your resume. That's falsifying your resume again. So go through all of them, go through, you know, several web pages under the results that you got, and there you go. It's done for you. The internet has so much information. Go in, pull that specific job description or bullet points of what you did and put it on your resume. It shouldn't take too long, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel, obviously. Add specific things that were tailored to your company or tailored to your position and add that. So how you should outline it. So you'll have the company name first. Usually I like to bold that. Underneath it, you will have your title: administrative assistant, executive assistant, accounts payable clerk, whatever your position was. Underneath it, I usually italicize that. You don't have to. So let's start with the company you worked at. For example, I worked for the Walt Disney Company. I would put Walt Disney Company, Radio Disney, which was the subgroup that I worked at, and then I put to the very right there, hit tab, don't space out, because if you hit space, it's not going to align properly. So tab out and then put January, for example, January 2011 to September 2014. You need to have a start month and year and an end month and year. You don't have to put a day, but do not put years, because if you put 2011 to 2011, you could have started January 2011 and ended December 2011. That's a year, but you're just putting 2011 to 2011. To the employer, that looks like, okay, they jump around, they didn't stay there very long, when in actuality it was almost a year. So make sure to put start month and year, end month, and end year. Okay, so then we're gonna put our position, what your position was, and below that you're gonna list bullet points of what exactly you did in that position. Again, go to Google it, job description, responsibilities of an account executive, of a data entry specialist, whatever it is that you did, Google that and put it. And then move forward. Have actually in each position that you've held, have like 4 to 6 bullet points of what you did there. You want to show what you did, and then keep doing that. Normally, I recommend having 10 years worth of experience on your resume. I think that's pretty good. Obviously, if you've been in an employer for 12, 15 years, that's amazing. Job tenure is very important. So Another thing that's really important in your job description, please include it, any software systems that you used that maybe were specific to the industry or to the company. If you did accounts payable or anything like that, or a bookkeeper, QuickBooks, list how you used QuickBooks and that you know how to use QuickBooks. Or sometimes there's software systems that are created to each company specifically, but list that, because maybe your new employer will see, oh, they know how to use Peachtree, for example. So that's similar to the program we use. Maybe they'll catch on. So give yourself credit for everything you've done. Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, Outlook. Another thing, software systems. If you're not proficient in the software system, do not list it. I have a lot of people that are like, yeah, I know how to use Excel, I know how to use Word. I test them and they get a 20%. That you don't know how to use it. Sometimes I'm not proficient in it, and that's okay. But don't put that you are, because that employer is going to expect you to know how to use it when you start. There's so many tutorials out there on YouTube, on the internet. Go and teach yourself or take a free course. But make sure you're proficient in each of it. Just learning how to open the software, don't list it if you don't know how to use it. So go through each job you've had, same format, same font, same size. There's nothing worse than seeing a resume with, each job description or each responsibilities that you've had is in a different font. That looks very unprofessional. Literally towards the end, select everything and put the same font. You can change the sizes, obviously, depending, on the job title, on the company, but make sure that if you worked at Walt Disney and then you worked at SeaWorld, that both the company names, if you're using a 12, they're both 12s. What else? Oh, another thing, languages. If you are not fluent, meaning you can read, write, and speak the language, do not list it on your resume. That is falsifying a resume again. Some people are like, oh, I took 2 years of Spanish in college. That's great, but can you write it, read it, and speak it? If you can't, don't list it. You can tell the employer if you get an interview, but do not list it on your resume, because it's going to look like, oh, this person is bilingual. They know English and Spanish. If you're bilingual in any language, whether it's English and Korean or English, Spanish, English, French, whatever it is, listed. And French, for example, write what kind of French. French Creole, Canadian French, French. Spanish is a little different, but sometimes it's traditional. But for a language, please make sure you're fluent in that language. Again, it's falsifying your resume. Let me look at what else I have. Chronological, I mentioned that. Spelling and grammar. There are so many people that have so many spelling and grammatical errors on their resume. I mean, attention to detail. That's going to get your resume thrown off right away. If this person, the resume is the representation of yourself. If you can't even spell something correctly, there's spell check, people. It's really easy. If you can't spell something correctly or write something correctly grammatically, that employer is going to be like, they don't have attention to detail and they're trying to sell themselves to me. They're not going to be good enough to do this position. So it's really important. Have somebody else proofread your resume before you send it on. I think that's about it. It's a really long video, but just very basic stuff. Again, I have a lot of people ask me questions about resumes, not even knowing how to start. So I hope this video is helpful. I would love to create another video about interview advice, tips. There's some great tips that I have that I would love to share with you if it's something that everyone would like to see. Another thing that I just remembered about resumes is when you send it over to an employer, send it in PDF. If you send it over to a recruiter at a staffing agency, you usually want to send it in Word because they'll have to take away some of your information. Now that's just like a side note, but I hope you enjoyed the video. enjoyed it. It's a lot of stuff. It's something that I've been thinking about for a long time doing, because so many people are constantly asking me, you know, the same questions over and over, and it's really hard with time to get back with everyone. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I'd love to create more videos. I love to help people. I love to bring value to people's life if I can. I think that's something we all need to do, is help each other out. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.